Well, it's 11 a.m. on Francis Marion Day. It's the time and place for the annual award of the Marion Medallion, an award that was created a number of years ago by Francis Marion University and the Morning News. In fact, in 2012. So this morning marks our 15th occasion for awarding this medallion and celebrating this event. Kyla Frazier will join me this morning in a few minutes from the Morning News in presenting these awards to our two recipients today. You know, since its inception, the award has been bestowed upon an array of what I feel are community heroes who are demonstrated deep devotion and service across this community. You know, we're frequently asked, what's the criteria? Here's the criteria. When people read the names of the people who receive the award, you want them to say, of course, perfect choice. That's the criteria. The medallion itself is a 2.5-pound gold-plated bronze piece. It's 6 inches in diameter, and it has General Francis Marion's likeness on one side and the recipient's name engraved on the other. It was specifically created for this award. So what I'd like to do now is read the names of the past recipients. If you are here, please stay standing while I work through the list, if you would. 2012, Kathleen Baxley. Henry Johnson and Hayward King. 2013, Bill and Olive Timberlake. Ralph Porter. 2014, Henry Beatty and Clyde Odom. Henry Brunson. 2015, John and Vicki Kirby, Paige Alexander, and Dina Strickland. 2016, Carlos Washington and Manahouse. 2017, Reggie Armstrong, Carl Harmon, and Courtney Graham. 2018, Billy Powers and Help for Kids. 2019, Chuck McNeil and the Parking Lot Ministry. 2020, Mayor Stephen Wakila and Alan Floyd. 2021, Allie E. Brooks and Hope Health. 2022, Gene Leatherman and Ellen Hamilton. 2023, Tim Norwood, Jim Brown, and Pat Gibson High. We'll wait for the old man to get up. 2024, Myra Horowitz, James Boswell. 2025, Debbie Wall and the Miracle League of Florence County. Let's give them a hand. Now it's my privilege and distinct pleasure to introduce our first recipient, Mike Miller. Mike has served this community at two different times in his career. Both were periods vital to the growth and prosperity of our area and our region. In 1999, Mike came here to become publisher of the Florence Morning News, a position that soon expanded to include market leader for the Morning News and BTW under Media General. You know, Mike came here and he stabilized a struggling newspaper, and he brought cohesion to a fragmented market that was exploiting the differences between the PD and the Grand Strand rather than growing and celebrating its commonality. He also worked to pull Myrtle Beach and Florence back together again. When the television station managers left, they had pledged to do this. But they divided the area, and none of them delivered on the promise to bring it back together. Mike did. He also hired talented young writers for whom journalism was a profession rather than an avocation. He paid them well, and he cultivated their expertise. Above all, he built a platform to provide the citizens of this region with timely and important news. He also provided all of us a forum to speak about the good and the bad, the weak and the strong. You see, Mike Miller was a newspaper man, and everything he did reflected his expertise, his ethics, and his respect for the truth. Much to our dismay, though, Mike left the PD in 2008 to assume publishing positions in North Carolina. But our opportunity came again in early 2014 when we asked him to visit Florence to interview for the Chamber of Commerce president's position. The broader community quickly heard that Mike was in town interviewing, and all knew that he was the perfect choice. The final vote was unanimous. And so began the second part of Mike's odyssey of progressive and constructive change across and within the region. You know, Mike quickly became our most successful catalyst for igniting productive change and providing advice to those committed to such change. And he performed so much of that quietly, but persistently and persuasively. Look, our cities our size are notorious for producing buts. That is, those who espouse the same senseless rhetoric, arguing, we could do that, but. Well, our friend Mike is a premier butt slayer. He always begins with the assumption that anything can be accomplished, a viewpoint underscored by his remarkable vision and his dogmatic persistence. And then he annihilates the buts. I do want to point out, this has nothing to do with a fetish. Maybe. Just look around you and see what I mean. Many people get credit in Florence for revitalizing, but Mike is a person who has connected the pieces to form a thriving and robust city and community. And like the engine going up the hill, he keeps whispering to numerous people, I think you can, I think you can, I think you can. So he's not only the butt slayer, he's also the business whisperer and the entrepreneur coach. He's also the person who has revamped our chamber, and he's made it inclusive, affordable, and relevant. I could speak forever in praise of Mike Miller's accomplishments, but you all get it. Every aspiring city needs a Mike. We got him at precisely the right time, twice. Count your blessings, Florence. And join me in praying every night that Mike and Kevin will stay where their efforts are so sorely needed among those of us who love them so much. For these and 100 other reasons, Mike Miller is a 2026 recipient of the Francis Marion Medallion. Mike.
Make a little adjustment here. Thank you very much, and thank you for the kind words, Dr. Carter. Very much appreciative. I was fortunate. I grew up with great parents. My dad and mom had 7 children. My dad wasn't a philosopher before he got married. After 7 children, he definitely was a philosopher. And he gave me some advice along the way. Well, actually, lots of advice. But one of them was, you know, you can do great things in life, Mike, but you're going to do even better things if you know how to garner good relationships and strong partnerships and friendships. A lot more can be accomplished. And he said it in a variety of different ways, but essentially it was all the same message. Surround yourself by good people, and a lot good will come from that. And it had served me well when I listened to it. But when I came here in 1999, and my family, my 3 daughters, it became very apparent what my dad was talking about, because I got to know neighbors down the street, Jim Brown, Candace. They connected me to a number of people, their friends, and their friends and their friends, and it just went on and it went on, and all good people. And also at that time, I gotta tell you, I met Dr. Carter. And we would talk all things Florence. Dr. Carter was new to town at the time as well. And we'd go to the golf course, we'd talk all things Florence. We'd talk in meetings, we'd talk socially. And I've learned over the years to depend on Dr. Carter. He knows I call him about once a month with some hurdle I'm trying to get over, what I've got to think about, and he offers solutions. Like many of you, a lot of friends in here, members of the chamber, board of directors. I see a number of you here, and I appreciate that. But I listened to my dad, and when I look at this award, I think it's more of a reflection of this community than it is of me and myself. And if I have accomplished anything in the community, it's because of the relationships that I was smart enough to garner, and taking advice when I needed to take that advice very strongly. So for that, I thank you all, I really do. I'm very honored to receive this award. But in talking about relationships and partnerships, I'd like to thank my wife, Mary Cabin, 46 years this weekend. And then I do want to say my brother Don and his wife Gina are here. They drove 10 hours from Ohio to be here and surprised me at the front door. So. And I finally just will say this, a wonderful award, obviously, and it couldn't be any better having Donna Isgett be the other recipient on this day, someone that truly deserves this award. I'm glad you're here, Donna. Thank you, Dr.
We're gonna adjust again for us short people. Congratulations, Mike. I am Kyla Fraser. I'm the market president here for the Morning News, and I have got the distinct honor of introducing our next award recipient. And I will say that the more I learn about this woman, I have mad respect for anyone who starts off in the trenches, works their way up, stays community involved, and makes a great impact where they live and work. And it's something I've always aspired to and will probably forevermore hold you as a mentor. So, I mean, just kudos to you for those things. Donna Isgett is the president and CEO of McLeod Health and a long-standing devoted member of the Florence community. In her own words, healthcare is only 20% of health. The other 80% is related to food, shelter, and feeling safe. Staying engaged in the community and contributing to that other 80% is something that she takes very seriously. Donna started her career as an emergency flight nurse, but her passion for clinical quality soon led her into leadership positions. She joined McLeod Health in 1997 and has led a variety of business units. Prior to being named the first woman president and CEO in March of 2021, Donna served as Chief Quality Officer, Senior Vice President of McLeod Physician Associates, and Chief Operating Officer. Under Donna's leadership in quality, McLeod Health was recognized nationally as one of the 7 health systems to receive the Robert Wood Johnson Pursuing Perfection Grant in 2002 and won the American Hospital Association Quest for Quality Award in 2010. Donna has been recognized for her extraordinary leadership by a variety of organizations. She was one of 2 South Carolina leaders appointed to the Institute for Healthcare Improvement's Executive Quality Leader Network in 2011, and she served as co-chair for the IHI's 2005 National Forum. She's a busy lady. She received the Milliken Medal of Quality Award from the South Carolina Quality Forum, the Lewis Blackman Patient Safety Award from the South Carolina Hospital Association. I could go on and on. The Mary Dean Brewer Women of Distinction Award, the Tribute to Women of Influence Award, and the British publication She Magazine's Extraordinary Women's Health Award. Donna has served on multiple governing boards, including twice as chair of the South Carolina Hospital Association. She's involved in the local economic development board, the Kiwanis Club, and she served twice as the chair of the South Carolina Hospital Association. She's also an accomplished equestrian, having won a world championship in Western pleasure riding in 2018. A different piece of your resume there. Donna is undeniably someone of great influence in the Florence community, and it is with great pleasure that we present her with this year's Marion Medallion Award.
You know, Mike, if I'd gotten the chance to go first, I could have said all those things that you said. But you got to one-up me on that one. Yes, I am on the go. That's why I wear my sneakers. We are walking for wellness at McLeod Health so that we can stay going. But seriously, as I thought about today, I think about 2 things. The shoulders that I stand on and the hands that I hold. The shoulders that I stand on go all the way back to when I was in elementary school. I remember Miss Sherfield that pushed me to be better and better. It was never enough. She, Miss Payne, others that pushed me. Miss Lantham that pushed me when I was in high school. What a difference it made in that public education sector to really make a difference in kids' lives. We should never underestimate what education does and what a difference it makes there. So I think about those shoulders that I stand on. I think about my predecessor, Rob Colonis, who was such a humble man, much quieter and in the background than I. But he certainly was someone to be looked up to that was so humble in his approach. But I think about the hands that I hold. I see many of them in this room that you've partnered with me, community leaders, Carolyn, Jean, others, Debbie, Mindy. I mean, so many Senator, so many community leaders that I've held your hand as we've tried to work on that other 80%. Dr. Carter, who was my mentor in the Liberty Fellowship Program, and he really held my hand doing that. But everybody you see in the room with this name tag is really the hands that I hold every day. See, it's not me, it's the team. There is no I in team, so I appreciate the individual award, but it is better together for us. And that's what makes the meaningful difference. What I love, and I too relish, Mike, that we got this award together, because we have the same goal, the same mission. We want everybody to understand the PD region is such a great place. And it is filled with so many unique individuals wanting to make a difference. The other thing, Mike, that you and I share is we want it as one region. You know, McLeod Health was founded in Florence, South Carolina. This is our corporate headquarters in Florence, but we encompass this region. I'm thrilled to have Monica and Scott and others that drove down from the coast, because we have assets in the coast too, because we see us as one, not as divided in that. So thank you. Thanks mostly to those shoulders that I stood on. or stand on and those hands that I hold. But thank you for letting me be a representative of those things. This is a great honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Again, we want to congratulate both of our recipients this morning, Mike and Donna, and thank you everybody for attending. If you two would stay for photos, that'd be great. Have a wonderful day.